Yes, so you talked about a few ideas of as to why your hip might be hurting. It doesn't look anything exactly sinister in your video, but here's a couple of things you can do to kind of like problem solve it. So one is, if you look at this first and foremost, this is actually above my ankle. So ideally, I'd have like a plate or something to stand on. I haven't got one to hand, but I would encourage you to be basically starting at a point which would be more like this, essentially. So you're in line with the line of the pull of the cable, rather than having to pull up through your hip, potentially. The other one is trying to stay square on. So try not to rotate yourself in. You rotate in ever so slightly, which is absolutely fine, like this, but play around with it. So see, my right foot in this situation is turned in, and I'm going to be pulling out, absolutely fine. Maybe try and square up a little bit more, go side on. I wouldn't really go too much out the way, because it wouldn't work right in the angle. So try and change it slightly differently that way. A little tip I'll give you is basically to go a little bit more of a soft knee on this standing leg, okay? So for you, what I'd encourage you is to basically bend the knee a wee bit more and lean over. You might get a little bit more stability here, okay? You can play around a little bit if you want a straight arm, or if you want like a bent arm to support yourself, as long as you feel stable, okay? So leaning over, bent over at the hip, pulling away, like so. All the movement just come from this left side. This right leg should not be contributing at all. You shouldn't be dipping through like so, popping the hips through as you do the movement. So you shouldn't be going here. I should be just nice and stable, leaning over like this. I do feel working this leg staying stable, that's part of the exercise. The angle might be is that actually the increase in the load between one jump to the next jump might be too much. So for example, my stack here goes 5 and 10. 10 kilos might be too much for a jump, okay? So what you can do is actually hook a 125 or a 2.5 plate over the pin and pin it in, and it will just sit on the pin. Really, really simple way of doing it, and it should be a lot more controlled. So again, one more time, bent knee, hips over, letting the lead leg turn inwards, out. Out. Try to keep all of this nice and stable. Hopefully that helps.